Hey everybody, and welcome back to my channel. I'm going to do my best here. I've got a 3-day migraine now, but I really wanted to show this one. I think it was turned out amazing, and it's something that I haven't seen before. It was an experiment on my side. So what I've got here is a polymer clay ornament. You could make this into just about anything, a keychain. This one I made for a car, a car decoration. You could make ornaments, anything. So what's most important here is that you're going to need some sort of polymer clay. In this case, I use Sculpey, and I'm in no way a polymer clay master. I haven't used this stuff in 30 years. I just had a thought and I wanted to roll with it. So for this one, you're going to need just a little bit of Sculpey, something to roll it out with. I tried a few different things, but really washing this brayer off was the best thing I used. And I'm just doing this on a piece of parchment. I did find on my test runs that this stuff picks up everything, and because I have quite a wide variety of art stuff everywhere, like it would pick up anything. Like, it was crazy. So, and I'm using white, so I'm just trying to warm it up, and I'm just using a cookie cutter to cut a circle. And I need it super flat. Again, I'm not a Sculpey master here. I'm just using what I've got around my house. And I'm using a straw. Sorry, I'm a little bit blank. Headache brain. I'm just using a straw to poke a couple holes. In this case, I'm going to poke 2 because I'm going to make this into a car hanger. I think this really opens up some variety for, clay sculpting or not wanting to use resin all the time. The biggest downside to resin is, of course, it yellows, and you can't use it for anything that goes in a window. It will yellow rather quickly. I know they all say UV protectors and all this stuff, but the reality is they yellow. I had made a rear view mirror hanger a while ago, and I think it was yellow within a month. It was really disappointing. So in the end, I baked this in the oven. I packaged directions, 275 for 30 minutes. I tried to make it as flat as possible. I'm going to make more of these. And at the end of this video, there is some blooper reels of some of the tests I've done trying to get this correct and some of the mistakes I made. So these are just sublimated images that I printed in my printer. I measured the size of the ornament. I just put it into Cricut Design Space. You don't need to if you're good with other programs. You can just measure it out. I printed it using the highest settings available, just to make sure I got a really deep image for the transfer. And the most important thing with sublimation, of course, is to make sure that it's backwards. And if you're using Cricut Design Space, please make sure you turn your bleed off, because I printed these once and I didn't do that. I always screw up one set, it seems. And I'm just taping one to each side. Being mindful of the holes, I realize about now that one of them is upside down because there is 2 holes on this one, and I'm going to flip it over. Take your time. Once it's down, you can't get it back, right? So there's me trying to look and see which side I'm on, what planet I'm on. I'm not sure these days sometimes. I think this was the 4th one that I tried. They got better as I went. Again, if you watch right to the end, you can see I go through some of the things that didn't work, so it is worth watching. Not everything does work, but this is, again, just sublimation stuff that I bought. It's just an Epson printer with sublimation ink in it. The ink was purchased at Amazon. The printer is not even a fancy Epson. It was a back-to-school special. I wasn't sure how much sublimation I'd actually do, but I did want to try it out a little bit. It's something that I've always wanted to explore and see where I can go with. So I've got my iron set to 365. I did put it on for about 90 seconds on each side to try to get a really good transfer. So no, it's mostly cooled down. It's still a little bit warm. This is why I'm trying not to do voiceover videos anymore, because they jump a bit. I'm trying to give so much information, but my daughter's always loud in the background. So the ornament is still warm and the sublimation paper sticks. It does stick quite a bit to the ornament. I found that as long as it's a little bit warm, it's a little bit easier to get off. But all I used here was a little bit of water. That's all it took. A little bit of water, a little bit of rubbing. It's why there's a towel underneath. I just kept cleaning it off. There's almost like a powdery substance left behind. But it really was not hard. It did not take very long. It literally, maybe a minute to get it all off. And you can see that the transfer is beautiful. It does do a really nice job. The other side, it's stuck a little bit. I just peeled off as much as I could, and then, rub a drop of water in and it will come right off. It seems to have made no difference to the transfer. I'm not taking off any color or anything, so no harm done. And then give it a little bit of a rinse under the sink and then wipe it off and get all that kind of whatever sublimation powder or whatever's on the paper and get it all really, really clean. Moving on to the top coat, and this is going to depend on what you want to do with your finished item. If you're going to put it somewhere where there's a lot of light, a lot of UV light, like in a car window, there's a little speck somewhere in there. You don't use UV resin. I'm going to use the Sculpey top coat. It's not as shiny as using like a UV resin, but I've had it in my window now for about a week and I've had no color change to it. Just as a tip, when you're letting it dry overnight, close your window or put something over it so you don't get a bunch of dust in it, which is what I did. And in the final pictures, you can see little specks. That was just me not using my brain. And I used 2 coats on each side, and it gives a nice finished shine to it. I'm actually really excited about how this turned out, and I think it's a great project. If you have a sublimation printer, give it a shot. Sculpey's pretty cheap, a couple of bucks, and you get a really, really nice result. And I've added, you can see here, I added some beads and I added a little stamped medallion at the bottom, and it's beautiful. It's been in my window. I haven't even put it in my car yet. I kept it in my window because I really liked it. I think it just turned out super well. But thank you for watching. If you liked this video, please like and subscribe. I try new things all the time on this channel. I try to figure out problems and how to do it, and I try to make sure I include as much as I can for tips and tricks to help people. I know that it's frustrating. You go through a lot of materials trying this, that, and the other thing. If you want to stick around here, these are the first trials. This was to see if it would even sublimate. So this is just Cricut Infusible. And for this one, I baked it with the Sculpey right onto it. So I baked at 275 for about half an hour right on the Sculpey. And the moisture in the Sculpey kind of messed with the design a little bit, but it wasn't a complete fail. So I was a little bit surprised. And so the Infusible ink works totally fine if you don't have a sublimation printer. You can still get some really beautiful patterns and designs on there. I'm testing to see how strong it is. Again, I haven't used this stuff since I was a little kid. And on this one, I designed it through Canva. I wanted to try a different type of design. And it was a little bit hard in Canva to mirror it. You kind of have to take a screenshot and then mirror it as a picture. And what I learned here is, although these are cute, they don't kind of have that color saturation that I really wanted. So it worked. And if you're going to do it, try to pick images that are a little bit darker, because you do lose a little bit of the color in the process. It's not a perfect sublimation. It's not made for sublimation. It was a science experiment. So, a little bit of those darker colors. So when I did the final one, the other one, I did put it into Design Space because it's more of a vector-like file, and you don't lose any of the integrity of the image, and you can make sure that it, mirrors perfectly and, stays at a high quality image so that you can get a really good printout. You can see I use kind of like a watercolor one here, and again, you need that really deep sublimation. The yellow barely showed up, which was too bad because it's, the ones I designed in Canva were actually really, really cute, but that's okay. You try some and not everything works out all the time. So if you watched this long, thank you for watching. I will try to, if people like it, and let me know below if you'd like to see my mistakes and, what went wrong and how you can always, don't make the same mistakes I did. Please like and subscribe. It does, help you catch that, elusive YouTube algorithm. And have a good one. Thanks.